Well, hello, Jane. It's lovely to see you again. I haven't seen you for a while. I
I know.
I think it's that I've known you for about 3 years. Is that right?
Actually, it's 4 years now. Can
Four
you believe?
years
Yeah.
since you purchased Churchfields, which was
Yes.
ailing a bit at the time, and we wondered at the time, who are these people who are going to buy this ailing organisation? But you've actually turned it round largely and invested a lot of time and your own money, both in the
Mhm.
building and in the organisation, and the place is now thriving. And
Yes.
I wondered, um, can you just tell us a little bit about Churchfields? Oh, and I should say that there are quite a few people who still remember it under its old name of Longlands. So
Yes.
we're talking about the home that's just at the back of the church in Cassington. And if you can tell us a little bit more about Churchfields and the developments that you've made so far, and what your plans are for the future, that would be
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Jane.
Yeah. Yes, I can't believe it. It's been 4 years. You're quite right. I took it over. It was a sort of ailing corporate business, and but nothing against the corporates, but what I wanted to do was turn it back into a small, intimate, family-run home. So we spent a lot of time in the last 4 years doing lots of development and lots of refurbishment. But that wasn't about extending the home as in more bedrooms. It was all about creating more living spaces and more choice for our residents, and to provide a comfortable place where they could live and choose what they wanted to be doing and where they wanted to be spending their time. So the changes have been about creating more living space to do with the conservatory we built. We extended the dining area. Some of our residents asked for a bar and a little snook area, so we created that for them. And an awful lot of time and energy has gone into our garden, because we realise that the outdoor space is so important for our residents. So we spent last year creating our eco garden and the huge prairie, and this year we've started our allotment. So we're now growing our own fruit and veg, which the residents are heavily involved in. And it's just been wonderful to see a lovely community coming together.
That's absolutely marvellous. And you mentioned the garden. Of course, you've got beautiful grounds
Yeah,
at
we have.
Churchfields that many people in
But
the village are completely unaware of, really. But
I know.
uh,
But they weren't being utilised previously. It was just a large sort of grass area, whereas now we've created pathways, we've created this prairie, we've got the meadow, and it was all about bringing nature back into the garden as well. So we've put masses of bird boxes in, we've got our hedgehogs, we've got, as I say, lots of planting, and the planting was all designed to bring the wildlife back in, and it's just been fabulous. It's a lovely environment.
yes, absolutely brilliant. But of course, things came to somewhat of a grinding halt with the pandemic, and I just wonder whether
Yes.
you can tell us a bit about how the home and yourselves have been coping during these last few months.
The pandemic's been challenging for everybody, but at Churchfields we're coping extremely well. The home's COVID-free. It has been for the last 4 months. Our team has been incredible, as have our residents and our families. We're aware that this virus isn't going away, so we're just learning now and adapting to living alongside it. So we put different policies and procedures in place. We've been doing a lot of education with our staff about how to do things correctly. We've got all the PPE that we require and staff are wearing appropriately. We're introducing social distancing, whereby we just don't have as many people in one area at one time. But life continues as normal within the home. And in fact, if anything, over the last 4 months, it's been delightful to see it flourish. In that residents can move around the home still freely. They've created some really wonderful friendships and bonds. The staff have been amazing as ever. And our activities team have been working alongside our residents to make sure that they still have lots of social activity throughout the day, and continuing to make sure that their day-to-day life is enjoyable and happy, and they're relaxed and well.
Right, I'm just wondering whether you could expand on that a little bit and say what in particular have you been able to do for the residents and their relatives that's sort of different during
Yeah.
the lockdown?
We embrace technology. Even though we're a people organisation and some of it's quite alien to us, it's amazing how quickly you can adapt, and amazingly how well our residents have adapted to it. So we've introduced things like this, or Zooms, we've introduced Skype, we've introduced more phone calls, so that families can keep in touch regularly with their relatives. And we've also made sure that we keep our outside community coming into our home. So all our entertainers have now been Skyping in, and we've got the technology on our smart TVs where we can put them onto the large screen. So we've carried on our exercise, our Keep Fit exercise programs. We've kept on our lovely people who come in and do lots of singing with us. We've kept together with doing our activities and our creative projects with the companies that we use that help and assist us with that. So yeah, in that way, certain things have continued as per normal for our residents.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. I've been in touch with Karen, who's the main activities coordinator, and she seems to be run off her feet a little bit, one way and another, but seems to have some marvelous things going on and maintaining contacts.
And because of that, what we've done, we've had, as you know, we've got one of our activities, Ladies Shielding, at the moment.
Yes.
And we hope that she will be rejoining us next month. But we therefore had a lady called Hayley who is helping us and helping Karen. But what we're also doing is going to, on a permanent basis, is be expanding our coordinator team. So we've actually got an advert out at the moment looking for somebody to come and develop our activities side even further, because as we say, the virus isn't going away, and because our residents can't go out into the community like we were doing in abundance before, we just want to create even more activity within the home. And by having another activities person, that will allow for more one-to-one time, more small groups, help us keep families well connected as well, because the Skype and the telephone calls obviously take up quite a lot of Karen's time throughout the day.
Yes, yeah, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. I was talking with Karen again yesterday, and she was telling me that about this new post that you've generated, which is absolutely fantastic. And one of the key things I think about Churchfields in recent years, since your ownership, is the expansion of the activities that have gone on, which is fantastic.
Even when we had our first CQC inspection a year in, they couldn't quite believe that at that time I was recruiting for a second person, because they said, well, homes don't normally have two activities of this size.
Yes.
But that was always our focus. To me, Churchfields is always about creating a life, and it's all about our residents and making sure that they feel loved, secure, and that their lives is enhanced. And I think people are really surprised when they come to somewhere like Churchfields that this is about improving the quality of your life. And it's lovely to see, as I say, people flourish within our home.
Fairly briefly, can I ask you how you see the home coming out of lockdown in the coming months? What have you got, any firm plans in place? I know it's very difficult.
Yes. Yeah, we are going to be extremely vigilant and extremely cautious. We were the first people into lockdown. In fact, Churchfields went into lockdown 3 weeks before the country did. And to be totally honest, Roger will be the last people out as well. We have started last month for family members, one family member for each resident, to come and do some social distance meetings in with their family members in the garden. And that was lovely to see, and really important for the mental health of our residents and also for the family members to see each other for the first time. But we are going to do that in the future very, very slowly. I'm keen to see now that when the next bit of lockdown happens on the 4th of July, what that does to our local infection rates. So for us, this is the time now where we will not change any of our policies and procedures. We will remain doing exactly as we have been doing over the last 4 months, keeping families in touch, letting them come and visit when we can, but sitting tight for the moment and waiting to see what actually is the impact. We've all been aware of what's happened in Leicester, We've all been aware of what's happening in other countries where they're having localized spikes. We've seen what some of the public have done as well with the uses of the beaches and the overcrowding and visiting in certain areas. And we would like to just see, particularly here in Oxfordshire, what is the actual response when lockdown is reduced even further. So for us, it's business as usual. We are very much open. We've been taking new residents from our local community now for the last couple of months. And that's lovely for us to be able to do. We can do that. We've got all policies and procedures in place, so we can do that safely. We continue to work alongside all our other healthcare professionals, so our GPs and our other local healthcare professionals have been fantastic. They've been supporting us day in, day out throughout all of this pandemic, and they continue to do that. And we're just starting to let in again, other healthcare professionals to come and visit. So things like our physios, our occupational therapists, our GPs will be starting to do their visits again, but following our very strict policies and procedures so that we can ensure that we do that safely. So there will be some relaxing of the way we work and some changes, but on the whole, we're going to sit tight and be very, very cautious and very vigilant.
Okay, thank you for that, Jane. It's just worth me saying to people who are viewing that we're actually recording on the 1st of July, because you talk about looking forward to the 4th of July. Of course, people viewing this will probably view it after then. And there may be other things that happen. We're very, very conscious in the last couple of days about the situation in Leicester. But we don't know how that's going to work out at the moment. On behalf of the whole community, I really want to just thank you and all the staff at Churchfields for the amazing job that you're doing, looking after our residents and friends there. So thank you so much. And I just, if I may, just two last questions, which I'll combine together. And the first is there any way that we as a community can support you more? And secondly, I know that many of our church family would like to pray for you. Are there any particular areas that you would like us to pray for you, your staff, for the organisation?
I would likewise like to say, firstly, two thank yous back. One is a personal thank you to the entire community, which we reached out to at the beginning of this pandemic, and they were so receptive and so supportive and wonderful. And also that support has continued and is very much being appreciated and felt within the home. We are receiving so many gifts, so many cards, so many letters which we are sharing and reading with our residents on a daily basis, and they're really embracing that as well. I think for all of us, this is a time where we are thinking about everybody within our home, but also our fantastic staff who are the making of Churchfields. I can't make this our residence home without our team. And as you said, the staff have been utterly incredible. They've been here day in, day out. There's not been one person who has turned away or not wanted to be in Churchfields during this time. And in fact, if anything, they want to improve and increase getting it right and to continue to keep our residents safe and well. So a second thank you for me for the amazing team. And I think the prayers for everybody at this time is for all of us to keep supporting the people who are on the front line and doing this job, but also hoping that the people who are working so diligently to find a cure for this, and by that I mean our vaccine, that our thoughts and prayers go out to them, and that we will soon be able to turn the corner and be able to reunite our communities in the way that we want to do in the coming months.
Well, thank you very much, Jane. I think we'll have to call it a day there. It's been lovely to speak to you, and hope to see you in the flesh.
I know, very soon, Roger.
Very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roger.
Bye-bye.
Really appreciate it.